Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You watching Casino is the Name, and let's have a money conversation. So, I really wanted to talk to you guys about the problem with reparations for the black community, for those of descendants of slaves, such as myself. Okay, so the problem with reparations is simple. Okay, and we can look at, say, the PPP situation. We can look at the EIDL situation. We can look at the stimulus money and all of that, right? And the main problem with reparations is at some point the money will eventually go to other communities, even to make them even richer. Okay. And the main reason is there are not enough black owned businesses. It's just not enough. It's not enough to support uh, that influx of money doesn't mean that people are going to now have the money to go out and build businesses. You know why? Because they don't know how. Okay, it's a lot of information that's missing, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of not knowing anything about financial literacy. Financial literacy is so important that it is crazy to think when you give somebody money who doesn't know anything about financial literacy, what do you think is going to happen with that money? It's going to go to the hands of the people who do have financial literacy, right? They don't have any products to sell. Um, they don't have any business know-how, and it's okay. I'm not saying that all of them will fail. Yes, some businesses or some people who start businesses may do well, but I can guarantee that it's not going to be a lot of new businesses that come out of reparations. I can guarantee that. Now, let me give you guys some context here, okay? So I was looking, and this is probably at least one of the highest estimates that I've seen, and it's saying that I don't know who this was, some activist a while back was hoping that or believed that every black person in America living should receive between, well, let's say about $162,000 a piece. Now I've seen numbers much lower. I've seen 20,000. I've seen some numbers higher, but $162,000 a piece, which is a lot of money, right? But just like what we saw with PPP loans and we saw with the EIDLs and we saw with stimulus money, uh, the people are just going to go out and spend the money. Okay, they're going to go buy Louis Vuitton. They're going to go buy Dior. And the reason why I'm even saying these names is because pre uh, pre pandemic, the guy who owns, you can look this up, the guy who owns Louis Vuitton, Dior, and all those other luxury brands, he owns a bunch of luxury brands. He became the richest person on the planet. He jumped ahead of Jeff Bezos. He jumped ahead of of Elon Musk. He jumped ahead of those guys. He is the richest, or I don't know right now today, but he jumped ahead of them. He became the richest person on the planet, and it's only because he had luxury brands, and people who could not previously afford those luxury brands and started getting this stimulus money and this PPP loan money and all of those things, they went out and they just started buying all the most expensive clothes that they always wanted, and that's what they did with their money. He jumped ahead of all the tech guys, all the guys in artificial intelligence and online stores. He jumped ahead of everybody. The Teslas, he jumped ahead of everybody by selling bags and clothes and shoes and expensive, probably liquors or something like that. I just know he got a lot of luxury brands. So he became the richest person on the planet by just offering luxury goods, and people who got all of this money, I don't want to say scam money, but these people who got all of this money and then they weren't working for it, and it was just a bunch of extra money. Some people made more money than they had ever seen in their life, and they went out and they purchased things that they always wanted, right? And so almost nobody in my community in a major way really advanced because of that influx of money. Because there's not a lot of things that we owned in order to keep that money in our community, right? Like, let's say I have my black owned business, okay? I got my black owned business. This is say, I don't know what percentage of uh, my community has a business, right? But let's say I have a black owned business, right? And I produce, maybe I install security systems or whatever through my business. And I go around and I install these systems. My company makes money. When I make money, it's the quote unquote black dollar, right? My business is black. I get the quote unquote black dollar. I get that money. That's great. I pay my employees out of my business, and so what happens, not just when I pay my employees, let's just say I'm the only person, let's just say I'm the only employee, right? When I make the money, it's now in the black community. And then I got to go to my car that I pay a car note on, right? When I make that car note payment, that money is now not going to the black community just that fast, right? Now I got to put gas in my car, right? First, we didn't manufacture these cars. Now I got to put gas in my car. It's rare that I have found a black-owned gas station, right? But let's just say I did, right? But now I'm putting gas in my car. The gas is probably not coming from my local community, right? So it's probably coming from some foreign national or either from another community that's not black, right? And so then I buy a house, and when I go buy my house, or I pay rent, right? If I live in an apartment, a major apartment complex, I go pay a rent to this major apartment complex. It's probably not black-owned apartment complex, but let's just say it is, right? After so long, though, the money would just leave our community just because we just don't have enough. Because when I go to Starbucks, you know, these things, they just keep chipping away until the money is no longer in our community. I am very surprised if a dollar would be in my community more than 5 hours. More than 5 hours. As far as like, if I have to spend this money maybe 5 times, the money will probably be no longer in our community. That's just, we don't own enough. We don't have enough businesses. So if you do drop $167,000 or so in every black person's hands in America, more than likely, even if they had good intentions of or ideals that we should support black owned businesses, there is not enough of them in order to keep this money in circulation in our community. And it does not cost a lot of money typically to start a business. Definitely doesn't take $167,000. And it definitely doesn't take as much money that came through during the stimulus and the PPP loans and the EIDLs. It doesn't take that much money to start a business. The problem is we are not starting enough businesses. We don't have enough products and services to offer in order to even compete on the global or national scale. We just don't, right? Maybe you have a barber shop. Maybe you have a t-shirt line. Maybe. Maybe you have a salon. Maybe you have a tax service. But even then, right, let's say you file the taxes. Most people are using a TurboTax system or some system that's already set up, and they're just filing, and in a way they're making money for their small business, but at the end of the day, the platform that they're using is not black owned. It's just not. It's rare for those things to be what they are. When you go buy a computer, we don't have any I'm not going to say we don't have any. I don't even know of any because I haven't done the research, right? But if I wanted to buy a computer, that's why I said I don't want to say they don't exist, but I don't know of any black-owned computer business, like computer manufacturers. Not saying that they don't exist, but how often are we actually seeking out a black-owned computer? I know there's a black-owned cell phone um, uh, from a guy out of, I think he's out of Florida, but it's rare that people wake up and say, yo, I'm going to seek out this. We're not in competition in the regular market. When I go to Best Buy, I don't, I'm pretty sure whatever device that I was going to buy out of there, almost none of them would say, hey, this is black, or would even be black owned. Maybe if they said, hey, this is black owned and we're in the market, maybe we can try to support. But there's nothing there. There's no representation on a national or global scale. It might be some stuff in your local area. It's just not everywhere where we all, like, I can't go to a car dealership near me that the car, even if the dealership is, say, a small mom and pops or maybe even a large dealership that's black owned, even that, the car itself is not manufactured by our community. So it's a lose-lose game. They say you can take all the money on the planet, divide it up, and all the money will flow back to the same people who are already at the top because they're in place. And this is why I did this whole video to tell you you need to go start a business and you need to think bigger than the barbershops and and the nail salons. You need to think bigger than the lawn service. You need to think bigger than the typical thing that most people are buying and flipping clothes. You need to think bigger than that. We need to be builders. We need to be in construction. We need to be um, like building our own security cameras. I just realized that this light is back here. I just realized that it shouldn't be back there right now. It should probably be somewhere up front, But um, we need to be manufacturing our own lighting systems. This watch, and if you see my custom piece, casino is the name, but this watch is a casino watch. I manufacture my own watch. So I am not just saying I am out here, I am starting businesses. I am in the space and I'm trying to think bigger, right? Because I wanted to buy a Rolex and I said, you know what? The money that I'm going to spend buying a Rolex, maybe let me look into manufacturing my own piece. And so that's what I did. And all of my people around me are wearing these and they purchased them from me, my own people, And it's a nice watch. It's a dope watch, Got gold and silver, it's a dope watch. Yeah. It's no battery, it's waterproof and the secondhand winds like a Rolex, But we can do anything, You can build your own black-owned car, we need things and we need to know about them. And they also not just need to be, oh yeah, he has this. We need these. I need this watch. I need whatever I have in traditional commerce. If there's a place where people buy cell phones and you create a black owned cell phone, then you need to get that. We need to get that cell phone in a Best Buy, in a Verizon, in an AT&T, in T-Mobile. We have to get it into the carriers in order for it to even make any sense. Because if you have a cell phone and it's great, but you made it and it's in a town in Florida and and I'd never hear about it in Texas, or I'd never even see it or know about it in Canada. Like I know they know about Samsung in Canada. I know they know about Samsung in Cali. I know they know about iPhone in New Hampshire. I know they know about iPhone in Florida or wherever. Like we know that these other things are there, but we have to get our things into traditional commerce. It is not enough to just be supported in your local area, because yes, you may do well for you, but for the totality, it's still small money. Still small money. You might make 50 million. It's small money. 50 million is small money out here. It's billions and trillions of dollars. Look up how much money Apple is worth. Look up how much Samsung is worth. Refrigerators. You need to be thinking bigger than the lawn service, bigger than the salon, bigger than flipping clothes, bigger. Okay? That's all I wanted to say. The problem with reparations is the money will eventually go back out of our community because we do not have enough things to offer. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino is the Name. Like, share, comment, subscribe. We out.